Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. First of all, thank you very much for actually coming back to part 2, where we will now be modeling the head and ears and pretty much up to the neck of our female character. And the next video we will do the body. So let's begin the video. Alright, so you can see I'm working with just a base mesh most of the time now, and only toggling between the subdivision modifier and having it on and off whenever I want to see kind of the final result-ish. Learned that from my mistakes from the last video. So I'll be extruding the side of the face and then the bottom here and then the top of the head and then joining them all together at the very end. So every time you extrude, make sure you look from all directions. So there's a front view, side view. It's quite important to look from the top view as well. And you will see me make a mistake because I keep forgetting to look on the top view here. And in a little bit, you can see that all of the edges, if you view from the top, is pretty much curved downwards. And I kind of have to fix that in visually. So make sure that if you fix this in early on when you extrude, you won't have this issue. But I was a bit lazy, so I didn't redo that part. So this is my first attempt at making the side of the head by pretty much just joining up the faces and then trying to add in edge loops. But this one has an issue, and you can see later I've created triangles. And this is about the time where I realized I screwed up. So I tried to fix this, as you can see, by adding in more edges and trying to make it all, but I just decided, nah, it doesn't work. Let's just try it again. So instead, the second time, well, the more easier way and what most people do is just extrude the edge downwards and then just merge the vertices at the edges, at the corners, well, corners of the head. From the front, the head looks very rectangular still, so I'm trying to just kind of shape it a little better. And you can shape things with either the sculpting brush or just kind of pulling vertices and grabbing stuff around, moving stuff around. I sort of made it a little bit more difficult for myself because I think I have just a bit too many vertices to begin with. So you can see this stripe in the middle of the head. There's a lot of loops going on, and that kind of just makes my job harder and a little bit more tedious. But as long as you kind of have a base mesh, you can always use a sculpting tool and just kind of smoothen and flatten things. So that's what I did. And you can also use, just as you can see, just highlight all the vertices, right click and smooth vertices. That helps a lot as well. So continuing on the head, I'm just continuously extruding and joining edges together to try to come towards the ear. So now I'm going to work around the ear by just, as you can see, extruding around the ear, because the hole there I want to add in the ear later on. Yeah, make sure that you look from all angles so that you can actually, close the gap there. So what I did here was kind of hide everything in the front face, all the vertices, and then to do that in edit mode, you just select the faces and click H, so you can work on the vertices behind that you can't really see very well. And then you can do Alt H to bring everything back in edit mode. So now I'm extruding sort of these three, this kind of the edges here outwards to create the muscle that you have here. I think it's called the sternocleidomastoid. It's a really random thing to know. I'm hopeless otherwise at anatomy. But I'm trying to get, the shape of that muscle out. And right now I'm using a lot of sculpting brushes to kind of create that jawline that she's got instead of pulling vertices. So the brushes that I usually use, for example, for gouging out mesh, is the crease brush, the flatten brush, and the smoothing brush. And to create that kind of jaw muscle, to pull out the meshes there, I use inflate, as well as the first tool that you see in the sculpting brush. I can't remember what that's called. But in any case, now I'm working on just kind of joining the edges together. And to do, for example, if you have two loops that are not connected, and if you want to connect them with faces, you just select both loops and Control E, and then click Bridge Edge Loops, which is what I did. It's just a lot faster than, clicking every 4 vertices, making a face, and then doing it over and over. So that's pretty much it, and now I'm just kind of taking some time to make the head a bit more human-like, a bit more round, less rectangular, and then extruding the little bit at the front of the neck, and hopefully pull some points around, and that's pretty much the head. So the last thing to do is the ears. And I've never really modeled ears before, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube you can check out to see. For example, Darren Lyle has a very easy tutorial to make a simple ear. But I decided to try something else this time, as you can see, by just duplicating the vertices around the ear, and then, because if we have the same number of vertices there as the base mesh, the head mesh, then we can just merge together when the ear is done. So now I'm just kind of making sure that happens, and then I'm hiding the rest of the head just so there's less distractions. And there's parts of the ear, like the earlobe, and then little bits inside where there's holes and crevices. So for that is pretty much just covering all of the extrusions with, right now I'm just making a bunch of faces, and then pulling them out a little bit, and then I'm connecting the rest of the holes with faces, and that will give you that kind of general shape of the ear. Great, so filling in the holes. Just make sure you keep toggling between the front view and the side view so that you can kind of make it easier for yourself later on. Cool, so that's the base mesh. Add the subdivision modifier, it looks a little bit better. Now I'm just trying to make the holes a bit deeper. And I think you can see that I have an issue. So for example here, I've created a lot of subdivisions, and I never really did, finish the loop by connecting it with the rest, because I didn't want extra edge loops. So now you can see when I fix it, it doesn't look really good if I don't connect those points with, the rest of the body. So then I'm kind of forced to add in more edge loops in the end. I tried to avoid this. I didn't really want to add in the edge loops, but to make it look nicer and kill my CPU a little bit, I thought might as well add it in for completeness sake. But yeah, I probably should have planned this a little better, and just don't be afraid to add in more edge loops. So you can see here, oh, there's a triangle there, and so, and here, as you can see, I just really wanted to show that if you click on that upper right hand button, you can click the matte cap and pick a bunch of inbuilt ways to view your mesh. So for example, there's the metallic one, you can see all the weird ones out there, but it really helps to see if your surface is smooth. So for example, the front of my face, I want it to be quite smooth. So my favorite is kind of this reddish mesh, matte kind of coloring, and using that I can see exactly where the bumps are and I can smooth those out. So that really helps in the future. But yeah, there you go. This is the rest of the head, and in the next video, hopefully you'll come back to see the rest of the body being made. Thank you very much, and see you next time.